I very vividly remember the time when the first Starbucks store opened in my city. The area was swarmed with people craving to get a glimpse of their favorite coffee house chain from America. With the brand's promise of expect more than coffee, I am sure they meant a full and rewarding coffee house experience, which they righteously follow today as well. However, with the pandemic in play, Starbucks opted for a digital route to sustain their sales and economy by launching social media campaigns and their debut in home delivery service. Elaborating further on Starbucks' story in past months, I have with me Deepa Krishnan, Director Marketing, Digital Loyalty PR at Starbucks India. Hi Deepa, we're so glad to have you.
Thank you, Soumya, and thanks so much for that very warm and personal introduction.
Thank you. But I really meant it because all of the first, while I was jotting down the points for this interview, I tried, penning down whatever actually first came to my mind. So this was exactly what was the first thought in my mind when I thought of Starbucks. So taking this further, how is the new normal treating you, Deepa, both personally and professionally?
So, of course, this has been completely unprecedented, right? None of us had really a playbook for something like this. We used it as a time to reset, to check and adjust. And I just want to go back to the beautiful introduction. It is customers like yourselves, which were really at the heart of everything that we did. And we didn't want to lose touch with our really lovely, lovely customers throughout this pandemic. So from a marketing point of view, there are a couple of things that we did. One is, of course, we wanted to keep the connection alive. And we had a really interesting campaign called Reconnect Starbucks. Now, you know, one of the highlights of anyone visiting a Starbucks store is the fact that you can get a fantastic interaction with our baristas. Our baristas write your name on the cup and they call out your name. And how do you make all of this come alive? So we came up with this wonderful campaign called Reconnect with Starbucks. Reconnect, obviously, because we were in the middle of a pandemic and customers could not necessarily visit all stores. So Reconnect with Starbucks was our way of really taking an offline ritual online. What we did was, we sent out interesting voice notes to customers. So for example, if your favorite beverage, and I'm taking a liberty here, is let's say the cappuccino, we'd have a voice note which would go out saying that a tall cappuccino for Soumya on your digital feed. And that was our way of, keeping the connection alive with our customers. Needless to say, safety and security of our customers and our baristas was of paramount importance, and we did everything that we could. We've always been following international safety standards, so we continue to do that through the pandemic, and that was another very important part. But, I always believe that it's brands like us who have to be the beacon of positivity, be the beacon of hope and optimism, even in tough times. So we made sure that everything that we communicated had a sense of purpose, had a strong sense of positivity and optimism. And you'd also see that in our recent campaign, which is a feeling called Starbucks. Sometimes it's difficult to put into words what you feel for brands. Iconic brands make customers feel special. And that's what we hope to bring alive. So, to answer your question, it was a combination of making sure that we had strong connections with customers, making sure we came up with never before innovations, a very, very strong focus on digital. And, delivery is not something that we started during the pandemic. We've been having it much before as well. But it, of course, grew significantly during the pandemic.
Very well put. Very well put. So, Deepa, you being a veteran in the industry, how did the hospitality sector get impacted by the pandemic? We all know that hospitality, entertainment, these were perhaps some of the industries that were, very harshly hit by the pandemic. So, how, according to you, did the hospitality sector react to the pandemic?
So I'd say that a couple of things which are here to stay and which affected not only us, but I think a lot of businesses. One is a heightened focus on safety, security, and hygiene. I think customers say that if I'm going out, I'd rather go out to a brand that I can trust, where I know I will be taken care of. Like I said, we've always followed international safety standards, and we continue to do that through the pandemic, and we even heightened our efforts. So, kitchens that follow international safety norms, making sure that all surfaces are sanitized every 30 minutes, social distancing markers, etc. We also were very humane to our partners. We call our employees partners. And we made sure that they got all the support and they never had to choose between their well-being and going out to do business. So I'd say safety security is one trend. The other big trend that I'd say was omni-channel. It's important in today's day and age to be where the customer wants you to be. So providing an omni-channel experience. And this is interesting for a brand like Starbucks because we are known as a third place. So that wonderful place, which is not your home or office, but a third place where maybe a journalist like you can be a creative best, you can connect with friends and family. So how do you make the third place relevant? It's about becoming omni-channel. So we'd had a lot of interesting format innovations, like we introduced our first drive-through. We started beverage outreach programs, which means that Starbucks can actually come to your society and come up with a plethora of offerings. We innovated in product format because innovation is another key thing which got, I think, heightened during the pandemic. So we came up with 1 liter beverages which you can consume at home. So if the signature chocolate is your favorite beverage, you could have it in a 1 liter variant which you can consume at home with your family. So I would say focus on digital, omni-channel presence, big focus on safety, security. These were some of the things that got heightened during the pandemic. And I'd also end by saying experience. I'm convinced that the millennial generation is going to value experiences even more as we go along. And they're always going to question what's the experience they're getting in every purchase. And brands like us are very, very conscious of trying to ensure that every experience that we give a customer is memorable.
Very nice. And how, according to you, is the F&B industry getting back to its speed by adopting to, means to adhere to the new normal?
So I can speak for ourselves. We today, for example, are at pre-COVID levels. We've started during the pandemic. Of course, we had more focus on takeaway versus dine-in. But as the situation improved, we've had very, very strong numbers in delivery. We've had very strong numbers in dine-in, and dine-in has really come back with a big bang. So I'd say that the F&B industry overall has focused on, like I said, safety, security, focused on digital, focused on innovation. Another thing that you'll see as a trend, which I think is here to stay, is this whole process of contactless ordering or digital payments. We, for example, launched our mobile order and pay app, which means that if you are a Starbucks Rewards member, you can download the mobile app and you can order your beverage and just go and pick it up in the store and really not, wait anywhere. So it's literally an on-the-go kind of experience. We have WhatsApp ordering as well. So it's a combination of all of these. And, India has always been that market which has been high on innovation. I think this has been a time where a lot of brands have actually upped their innovation game even more and tried to do the best they could given the circumstances.
I was actually coming to the same point. So as per a very recent report, about 90% of the restaurants will be adopting digital menus by 21 and 100% of them will be preferring digital payments. So digital is also, core to your strategies. How do you look at this model, working for the restaurant or F&B business? Do you think it will bring in more efficiency and, progress to the whole industry?
I certainly think digital is the way forward, but like every transition, it's not going to happen overnight. There will be a lot of people who you have to take through the process and take through the journey. For brands like ours, it's going to be about offering all possible options to customers. So you definitely have strong digital options, which are contactless, completely on the go. We're going to be soon launching our mobile order and pay app with food and rewards redemption as well. So it's, I think, about giving the customer the choice. We already have contactless ordering in our stores, and there is a very, very strong digital roadmap that we're working on. Having said that, I think it's going to be a journey. And, many times when people talk about digital, they forget the human interaction. And I think that is going to really, really be key. And in fact, in a more digital world, ironically, people are more lonely and they crave for that human interaction even more. So it's going to be about how brands can make that balance between providing meaningful connections and, of course, being trendsetters as far as digital innovation is concerned.
Right. And do you think the cloud kitchens have emerged as saviors for the F&B industry, especially during this pandemic?
So I would say cloud kitchens was there earlier as well, and there is a place for different types of models. There will always be place for cloud kitchens. There will be place for dine-in. There will be place for delivery only. It is really about giving the customer the best possible experience, giving them convenience, and giving them formats that are really simple to use. So to my mind, it is really omni-channel. I think omni-channel to my mind is the best way to proceed as far as the F&B industry is concerned, without being partial to a particular format.
Right. And Deepa, tell me something from a marketeer's lens. Do you think how important is reinforcing brand affinity and recall during these testing times? And what suggestions would you have for the marketeers who are actually grappling with this unprecedented situation?
It's always important. And I think, here I draw a distinction between things that you want to say from the point of view of mere business versus doing some good to society and saying things which are important for customers. Let me rephrase it probably. As a marketer, I kind of very strictly follow the 99% principle, which is to say that 99% of the time the consumer is not thinking about your product. Many marketers make the mistake of believing the opposite. So I think brands that are truly successful are ones which really connect what's important to customers, position the brand in that sense and talk about things that are really important to customers. So I think if you're able to give your customers a fantastic experience, if you're able to talk about things that really matter to your customers, then it is certainly something that becomes easier, and you do not have to look at it from the point of view of technically just building consideration or brand recall, because then it's something that's said from the heart.
Very nice. So my last question for today, Deepa, what would be Starbucks playbook for the coming year? What are your plans to tap tier 2 and tier 3 cities?
Well, we've, interestingly launched many more stores this year than last year. And as we speak, we've entered 6 new cities. A lot of them are tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So we've entered cities like Lucknow, Ludhiana, Amritsar. We launched in Kochi. We've just launched in Bhopal and Indore. And our mantra as we expand our presence in India is a combination of width and depth. So we'll go deeper into the current cities that we're in. And of course, we'll expand our coverage and go into newer cities. And we'll go into these cities thoughtfully where there is a great opportunity and connect with those customers based on the cultural insight. The other thing, since you talk about marketing playbook, I'll also say it's going to be a focus on interesting partnerships as well. As you know, we've launched a very interesting menu which comprises vegan, vegetarian and non-vegetarian options. And this is a collaboration between Tata Starbucks, Tata Sampann and Sanjeev Kapoor. And just this week, we've actually launched an interesting series of merchandise with the label Life, whose style editors are Bipasha Basu, Malaika Arora and Suzanne Khan. And it is going to be partnerships, which is going to be, I think, another growth driver for us. So a combination of expansion to new cities, interesting partnerships, and of course, through it all, keeping the Starbucks promise alive of inspiring and nurturing the human spirit, one person, one cup, one neighborhood at a time.
Very well said, Deepa. So, human connection, omni-channel presence, purpose, and experience. This is my takeaway from today's interview. I'm so glad that you could take out time. Thank you so much.